individual person, we were understanding the concepts and creating a model on our own, right? Okay, but if that model is not created by us, okay, it is like getting in the industry, how it happens, you have a huge set of data which is there with you. Okay, you are trying to predict something out of it or trying to classify it into something. Okay, so individually as a person, you are not sitting and writing the code. Okay, there are what I should say, like there are solutions which help you do it with much ease and with much better results. Okay, much better results means, because why, suppose you have a data set, right? Humanly, for one person might be knowing some, say, let me say, like some 15 algorithms, okay, which you think might be suitable for this, and you write every time and you run the program and you see how it is working. Okay, and if it is not working well, you again try to change, you do all your pre processing steps, you add some, you don't do some, like this. It's an iterative process, but just imagine how huge it is if it is for a very large scale. Okay, such millions of data continuously coming with time, and you are trying to analyze that and trying to fix your model. Okay, that okay, this is the most best model for us. So there
I,
you,
I'm actually thinking
yes,
that there could be a very wide range of applications even within the banking industry for developing different products. They call it loan products, they call it deposit products, and products can be developed depending upon market segments,
yes,
like categories of public XYZ categories. Products can be developed based on geographical areas and occupations. Then the other thing is there's a huge thing called NPA management and financial analysis associated with that. So there could be a lot of areas where they can handle this. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
All right.
right. Yeah. And that is where, like, if it has to be handled for a lot of area, right, it has
Yeah.
to be done, like you understand the bulk of the work. Okay,
Yeah.
that it includes, I mean, it is humanly, it is like with for a one person or for a set of people
It's quite
to
tough.
together, it becomes very difficult. Okay, so there, I'm trying to give you here is, in this few slides, the area which you are all trying to hit right in your own industry. We will come to that is a very interesting discussion actually, which even I wanted to have with all of you, because we have a, say, from varied fields we have people here, so that will be very interesting. But here exactly what I am trying to convey is that how do you say, at a very low level, I'm saying, how do you write, or you write the code for your model, or how do you build the model, test the model, when you are doing it as an in industry level, like how it is being done, just to give you a feel, because same, there are problems of we need subscription and all, so really cannot walk you through the entire process of it, but just to give you an idea, okay, that you'll get a fair idea uh, about the like the bulk of it which is involved here and how it is getting tackled. Okay, so here, no, I have just taken one example. There is actually see, there is actually Microsoft Azure, okay, which is there. It is kind of a cloud solution. Okay, cloud in the sense, I think might be some people will be knowing, but just I mean. Uh, just as a layman, I would like to like explain, okay, that what cloud is. See, I mean, that is for everyone actually to understand. Say, for example, mm, you have a house, right? Okay, you have a house, and and you give it for rent. Okay, you have a house somewhere where you are not staying, or rather I should say not using the house, and you are giving it for rent. Okay, so what happens here? I mean, who takes rent of your house, just like on a generic level, just tell me, who takes rent of your house?
Well,
That is
Householder.
level. Yeah, don't think something
No,
complex.
no. It depends. It depends upon depends upon the location of your place, the given the amenities of your place on the one side, and yeah, location is very critical there actually, and then amenities, uh, how they are, then that takes you to the category of people who can come in, whether it is professionals or whether it is people of a different level, lower level, all that is related.
But yeah, what is important in the category of people who are coming in? What is the one thing they all have in common?
Uh, their ability to pay the money, to pay the rent on time, right?
No, not really. See,
And also vacate the place when it required.
yeah, these are like the good things that they should do. But
Right.
the on the first place, if they are coming to take rent, right? What is the one thing every one of them has in common? You think anyone?
They don't have their own house. That's why they are renting from you.
Right.
No, well, they may have their own home, but
Huh.
they are working in a place where they don't have a home to stay.
Right. Might be in that location.
Right.
Main, I should say, not go into what exactly cause it, but main is they have a need, right?
Yeah,
They
that's
have
it.
a need, be it for any reason, but
Right.
they have a need. Suppose, for to give an example, I stay in a certain city and I have a house in another city. Okay, so someone who is coming to that city, right, needs a house to stay. On the first go, doesn't have a house and
Right.
wants to just rent your house, right? That for some time. So whenever it's a rent, right, that person is not the owner of your house, correct?
Right.
So for some time, the person, the family is actually staying in your house, uh, paying for that, okay, like using all the amenities which are all available,
Right.
and then what happens? That person, whenever the need is not there, right, the person will leave your house and go.
Right.
So, so it is lean on both sides. Do you understand that? It is lean on both sides.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, whatever is the infrastructure issues that you are having and all, till the time
Right.
they are staying, they might take care to some extent,
Right.
but then they are not so much bothered. It is your responsibility to take care of your infrastructure, correct?
Right. Right.
For it, because you are the owner, okay.
Right.
But the person who is staying as a tenant, right, only for that period of time, okay, he or she, the family uses it, gives you the money for that, and leaves it. So it's very lean on both sides. Even we don't want our house to be, say, our house, that it is going without rent, okay. So we also rent it, that we get some amount of money for getting used, and the second, for him also the headache is less. It is not their own house, right? So the all kind of infrastructure care that it has to take place, all that is, you already, suppose in your house you already have a set, say, drinking water system is
Right.
all already there. You have all your system set, okay. You have, if you're giving a furnished flat, okay, you have your TV, your refrigerator, everything is there in place. So your infrastructure, the family has, the tenant has not set up the infrastructure. You have set up only for a limited amount of time. They are using it and giving the cost for it for when they use it, and leaving it and going. This is what the tenant, I mean, you should think. When we talk so much about cloud, right? Okay.
I thought as much. You're talking about cloud.
Yeah, we are actually talking about cloud is actually this, okay. If you think in that manner, okay, there are different kinds of infrastructure, okay, in the cloud. I mean, I'm telling all this at a very high level. I know, like, people from the IT industry might find it very basic, but for this is for understanding of everyone, okay. So on, say, at a very, like, on a high level, if you see there, we have this clouds, okay. Here in Microsoft, they call it like Microsoft Azure cloud, okay. So there they will have, say, different kind of machines. You just imagine like as if it is a cloud and things are floating there, okay. As and when what you need, you just take it for yourself, use it, pay the rent for it, give it back. Okay, you should think in that way, that it is just,
Pay per user.
pardon?
Pay per user.
Right,
Pay
pay
for
per user. Yeah,
user.
yeah, pay per user, or how it is. So
Yeah.
usually what happens in, say, the different companies that we work for, right, they will actually take subscription of this cloud. Okay, like, means, we will take it for so period. We won't take everything. We don't want everything that is there in the house. Suppose you have a house, right, you have 3 rooms, and you are giving rent only 2, and keeping the other locked. So it is like that. That whatever you have, I don't want this. My requirement is, I want a, machine learning solution. Okay, from, whatever you have. For some time, I want a machine learning solution. So what kind of machine learning solution means what? I mean, these terms might appear very vague to you. So how it is like? Um, say, you should, how it is, suppose, like, I want some of the machines, okay, where all your machine learning libraries and all are installed. I mean, it is ready for doing any kind of machine learning tasks, understanding that way. Okay, so suppose nowadays we rent furnitures also. Suppose I want a washing machine for rent. Okay, that means, I mean, I should get a machine which already has the capabilities of washing your clothes. Okay, so it is like that. In cloud, there are so many different kinds of solution, right? So one doesn't need everything. That organization on a whole will take, say, I need only a machine learning solution from there. Okay, and it is going to use for its model development, training, and all this. So that is what I was telling, like, from the very first day, that we use this kind of cloud solutions. It could be Oracle. At the industry level, how this works, it could be Oracle, it could be, Microsoft, AWS. Okay, various types are there. I have worked mainly on Azure, so just I can give a clear picture of that to all of you. So here, actually, if you see here, imagine that you have your solution from the cloud. You have it. You need to have subscription, means your company needs to have, and you log in with that subscription so that you get benefit of that. Okay, now once you do, what happens? Suppose you have to design a model. Okay, you have to design a model for a lot of data. Okay, like millions of data is there which has to be analyzed, and the conclusion has to be drawn. Okay, we don't know which algorithm will be perfect for it, all this kind of information. Or we want to try, say, I want to try with 100 different algorithms and see which, what kind of result it is giving. Okay, think in that scale. Just imagine you sitting and trying to fit the data, so much of data. Okay, which, for which you need big machines, like big machines, I won't say, like, for which you need machines with larger capacity. Okay, and this has to be trained, okay, with this machine learning jobs. All the libraries and everything to train it has to be there. All this should be ready. You should be train it, and then able to, like, run so many, say, kind of some 30-40 algorithms has to run on them, and to get the best result. Okay, so just you have the data set with you, right? So just, I mean, some of the key screenshots I have just kept for you to understand. So there is something like an, automated machine learning, say, solution that Azure has. Okay, or automated ML, they call it, actually auto ML in that. So here, if you see, right, just don't go each, step by step. It is just to give you a practical understanding of it. If you see here, we in the left one first. Okay, left upper. So if you see here, the, I mean, just we create jobs. Okay, we are configuring jobs here. We give some name to it. We give the target column which we think. Okay, see, there is something like select compute type, which is compute cluster. This means this is not the cluster what we learn. This is actually, see, so much of training data we have to run, right? It might not be, possible to execute that in one machine. Okay, I mean, you might need to run that same algorithm in multiple machines, because the data is huge. For one machine, I mean, it might fail because of its capacity. So these clusters, they are there. Cluster means it is a group of machines, I should say, in a very layman language actually. So it is a group. So just create a compute cluster of say so and so machines which are there, and there my this job has to run. Okay, this kind of settings if you see on the left, that is going, we are creating a job. Okay, now if you come to the left, right upper, okay, here is like you have a data set which you have selected. Now it's up to you. The regression might have a lot of algorithms, the classification might have a lot of algorithms. So these are actually options it is giving you, what kind of algorithms you want to write, regression or classification. As per your knowledge, you give, okay, that I want to give this thing to run like that. Then once you come inside, right, see the direct steps are not this, might be you give classification. Then next, like for every column, right, there might be, say you have the data set, okay, you want to make some kind of change like impute with, we were doing that clearing of data, right, that if it is um, if it is blank, missing values, we were saying, right, if it is blank, you replace with something. Okay, so if you see here impute with and if this drop down could be clicked, right, you might find say mean or median, this kind of things in the drop down. You just select it. Now I think you should understand why we were going like step by step, because to use this portal, right, or to use this solution, you should know what is impute with, what it is doing. It is a kind of pre-processing step that it will do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that is where your understanding is important. You might not have to write code for it, but you should understand what is being done. Okay, so here you select something. Then the same thing, like you can define, okay, what will be your percentage, whether it will be like how we were doing, right, writing a statement with test split, train test split and all. So here we just say, okay, percentage I want of test data 2 to be 30.
Mm.
Okay, now just see, I'm just trying to explain you. Okay, you can even set up your the metrics through which you want to assess. Okay, it will have some of its by default, some you can even set up, and there are so many kinds of matrices also. Okay, so that you can set. Okay, then exit criteria, that for how many hours, okay, you want it to run. Whether you want run means what, it will continuously, this model will be running with different algorithms and for a certain time. Okay, and then giving you the result. So that threshold time you can even set that, okay, I just want it to run for a day, or I want it to run for 10 hours. Okay, and continuously try to predict and improve. Okay, so this kind of what to say, the exit criteria you can set if you want. If you don't give, it has some default values. Okay, the metrics also say something is getting an accuracy, say for the last 10 hours only it is getting an say accuracy of 0.7 for example, and it is reducing and reducing and reducing. Okay, so there's no point, right, continuously running. You are just putting like pressure on your machine, okay, by doing this. So you can put a threshold that anything which is lower than 0.7, if it comes, you stop the training job or you stop that algorithm. Okay, so this kind of criterias are there. Okay, you can do it. Now just see, I was just trying to see, once you run, right, and then just see here the down slide which is there. Okay, if you see here, this is a yeah, this is an actually, 1 minute, yeah, AutoML job that got created. Okay, now we will see one thing. See, it is so important in that one AutoML job, okay, where you just gave your data set. Okay, and you get some of the settings for training it, and now the job runs. Okay, see, first of all, the left one, you see this job which is there, the left upper one. See, the duration is, it ran for 20 hours. Okay, 20 hours, 8 minutes. Okay. See here, the most interesting part is here, the ninth, the right upper. Okay, if you see here, see so many algorithms or so many models actually it created and ran. If you see here, see upper, it is like 1068 models. Can you see? On the same data set there are 1068 models that ran. Okay, there are options where you can say I don't want to run this model on it. All this setup you can do, but if then I mean that is that configuration changes are always there. But if you don't do right, say classification only, 1068 models are actually with different algorithms. Okay, it is running and it is giving the score. Just imagine the scale of it. That is what I'm like trying to portray many times. Okay, so once that is run right, then there will be something like the metrics. Can you see here in the left bottom? To everyone it is clear right till here what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Four screens on a page, each screen looks small enough.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, I'll change, but at present can't do anything. Just, yeah, just trying to see here. See metrics. If you see right. Okay, so metrics. See for all the models in one shot, you can see. Okay, what the matrix is, and then you can decide on okay which gave you the best metrics or whether that matrix is relevant for your case or not from here. Again, not only this, it will also give you predict you which is the best model it thinks. Okay, you can obviously differ and use your discretion, but it gives you that prediction also that okay this model was the best we think for this case. Okay, so this kind if you see right, you will understand that how it takes place, and then you decide on the model and say okay I will go for this model. Okay, so this is on a very high level. Okay, how in the industry it is getting used. Okay, uh, yeah, till here okay, right? Then I'll just
Yes.
yeah, something related I will just try to tell you and we'll close this part. Yeah, so this was like fixing on a model. Okay, now if you want to, yeah, suppose yeah this option is there. Apart from that, even suppose you want to create a model of your own. Okay, not going by like how we were doing, right? So if you want to create a model of your own, you don't need to explicitly code also. If you see on the on this left part, can you see this left slide which is there? There will be say utilities where you can just create a pipeline. If you see here, we'll just drag and drop these utilities like clean missing data. You have a data set, you just drag and drop clean missing data here. Okay, then you link it up with after cleaning, you split it, you give it here. Obviously you can double click and put the settings that okay I want to split 20%, 30%, it depends. Then I mean these are like modules, you are just calling it. Okay, if different kind of algorithms you want to use for the train model, there will be like this kind of boxes, just like pull it here, and these are like modules which are pulling and using like score model, evaluate model. So your work becomes this easy, but you need to know what each one is. But it is I mean this easy, you can just put it and to try to create your model. Okay, you create a model and you actually for the deployment purpose means now once you create the model, right, how will you use the model or how it should be utilized at the user end. Okay, or to see how our model works. Okay, so for that we need to deploy okay the model. So some specific steps are there, I will not be going one by one because that will not be interesting for all. But there are steps like you have to register the model. Register is nothing like what we can say is it involves like saving the trained machine learning model okay to a model registry. Okay, it is like a model registry where a number of models are there, it is versioned and it is there. These models you can access. Okay, so just understand in this way, you created like you have created the model and there will be like register button and all, you can go and register. Even with python code also you can write the register for register whatever code is there. Okay, But these are different steps. You need to register the model. But then what happens is, to use this model, right, there is something like the endpoint. If you see the down slide here, right, http colon slash slash, you can see, right, kind of it's like an URL. Can you see? Mm. REST endpoint which is named. Okay.
Not very clear.
Now,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So here if you see this endpoint, right? Here if you see REST endpoint. So I mean this kind of after registration, no, we get this kind of endpoints, okay? Or like for deploying, you need this endpoints, okay? Now what happens is, just to understand, okay, these are all technical things, not much required. So yeah, this is like a Python code you can use. I'm not going into it. Whoever has interest can see it. Okay. But yeah, yeah. Here is like, yeah, you can consume this model. I'll just tell you how it is done here. Okay. Uh, and like this REST endpoint you got, right? When we are doing this deployment, there are steps, and there you need to give this endpoints, okay? And then what you do, once your model is ready, you send a request to the model, means you send your data to the model, and you want it to predict back. That is clear. You send a data to the model and you want it to predict back. So this usually we do in other kind of tools, right? Where actually we do for this API, the testing of this APIs. Okay, so this is like a Postman tool here, where nothing. What I just wanted to tell you is, if you see on the left, right, this is the request, okay, which is going with your data and everything in JSON format, and it is giving you the response, okay, that okay for your model. And you, while it goes, right, that REST endpoint http colon slash slash, this has also been fed here. I mean, it is hitting that model with your request, mine means your features, and it is giving you back your outputs, okay, like your labels, probabilities, all this, like your scoring, it is giving back. So in this way, we try to analyze, okay, that how our model has performed. And if we see that, okay, this has performed in a, like say, quite a good way, like it is giving us a score which is quite relevant, okay, and can be used, then we fix on that model. Okay, so this is how in industry it is getting done. For people having interest, you can, like, yeah. And for all the database and the storage, okay, whatever the questions were, when it is like in the cloud, right, there are a lot of options in terms of storage, in terms of your machine capacity. So all you can take on rent and release whenever you don't need it, okay? So this is how it will work. So you don't have to always think about the, not you, like you always think, if you have the infrastructure, right, you set up everything and then you can do. No, nowadays they are all using the different cloud solutions which are there, and like taking the benefit of it and returning it back. Okay. So yeah, mostly this, yeah, I wanted to cover this. Okay, clear till here?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no? Okay. Okay. So now, yeah, this is a, let's like have a quiz, okay? And it is not like no kind of assessment or anything. I know last day there were a lot of apprehensions with this. It is just a fun quiz, okay? Some set of questions of what we learned. I think only 10 or 12 questions are there, okay? Just try, like let's take a break, 15 minutes. It's not mandatory also for you that you have to do it, but we'll just discuss on this little bit, and we have another like interesting area, we'll jump on that, okay? So uh, not much time we will spend on this. So it's like,
You'll be sharing a link for that.
uh, yeah, that link I will share for a different thing. This is for the questions I thought of giving in WhatsApp only. I have the Word document, but I guess might be many people might not be able to open it or anything. So just thought of giving here itself. Okay, and when I will share the everything, right, like the you have all this inside as Word documents, so you can refer for your future. But just for now, I'm sharing in the same group, right? Oh, yeah. Just just try and see. These are multiple choice some questions. Okay, I think 10 minutes is enough.
So we can
Okay,
try in this only, right? Or you're
you want
sharing
to?
a survey kind of thing. Uh,
No, no, no. It's
okay.
not. It's not a survey kind of thing that I'm doing. You can just try here itself. We will discuss the solution. Just try and read and try to answer yourself what it is. You don't need to mark your answer also anywhere. If you want, you write, but it's up to you. And it's not a kind of mandate and all. Like, please do not take in that way. It is just for our understanding. We'll just discuss this and jump into another new thing, like new interesting it. So yeah, I think you have it in your phone. So let me stop sharing. Let's take a just 10 minutes break. Okay, 3:30 will be there. Try it that.
Okay.
Purnima, எனக்கு கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் கொடுத்தாச்சு. கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் கொடுத்துருக்கா. டோன்ட் வரி. யாரை ஃபெயில் ஆக மாட்டேன்னு சொன்னான். காஃபி தான். யாரை ஃபெயில் ஆக மாட்டேங்க. நீ போறத வந்தாச்சா அது கொண்டு வந்தாச்சா நீ போறத அது கொண்டு வந்தாச்சா கடை இப்பதான் கொண்டு சார் நானும் 2-3 வருஷம் ஆச்சு அப்படிதானே டிஸ்டா தானே அப்படிதானே பைசா செட்டில் பண்ணணும் அது பண்ணணும் இது பண்ணணும் கவிதா வந்திருக்கா இருந்தா நான் போயிருந்திருக்கே வேண்டாமே வேஸ்ட் போனோமே உட்காந்து சொல்ல மாட்டாளே கம்ப்ளீட்டர் மண்ணி சொல்ல மாட்டாளே மண்ணி நெருப்புக்கு ஏதாவது வாங்கணுமா மண்ணி வேண்டாண்டி இந்த 2 குட்டிகள் இருக்காளே நெருக்கு போடு அப்ப சொல்லக்கூடாது கவிதா வந்திருக்கான்னு
So are we done? Yes.
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 Yeah, I'm presenting, right? You can see.
Minute.
Okay, so very
Yes.
I have to passport, man.
pardon. Yeah, very quickly, just let's see, okay, the solution. So for the first one, okay, what did you answer? Most people
Model training,
Teacher engineering.
model teacher engineering. Okay. Any other different?
model training is the answer.
Data visualization also can be a step, right?
No.
Yeah. So, yeah, what actually here it is that model training, data visualization, and then evaluation, right? These are all, these are pre-processing, but they are more related to model building. Okay, like building the model. Before that, there is data pre-processing primarily, which is like feature engineering, where you will actually create new features, you will modify existing ones, do these encoding types. Okay, so it is feature engineering is more relevant. Though I feel all are like pre-processing steps only before you actually like hit on a model, but feature engineering is more related to it. Okay. So this is these are model training, visualization, evaluation matrix, and all. This is more kind of it tends to model building. Okay. So it was like that. Okay. So the second one, normalization and standardization.
I thought you said feature engineering talks about the relationship, the weights that you have to give to the coefficients of the different features, right?
No.
Right.
No.
That's a correlation and principal component.
I thought it refers to the coefficients,
No, no, no. Feature engineering is not assigning coefficients. It is
not
about
not as
like yeah.
not as a coefficient. You know what were we talking about? Or relationship between one variable and another variable. Is that what it is?
Yeah, but after that, like what to do actually? Feature engineering is actually a very broad field, sir. Okay, it is not only like just doing what we did, correlation and doing a principal component analysis. It is more on like you are analyzing whatever are the features and you are trying to modify some, remove some, replace some. Okay,
Okay.
those kind of
Okay.
things you are doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like more tends to. So these are kind of very commonly asked some of the questions. So just to give you a feel of this, okay. So normalization and standardization are techniques used in data pre-processing primarily to
For scale numerical features.
uh, everyone almost same, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. We used to scale it. I think we talked on that. Yeah. Okay, okay. And handling missing values in a data set involves which of the following?
All the above.
All of the above.
Anyone having a
No,
different opinion, just let me know. Okay. Yeah, all of them because we do both kinds of things here. We remove the rows if it doesn't impact much, and also
right.
mean and median filling up is like a very common thing. Okay. Yeah. So principal component analysis, what is it used for primarily?
Feature selection.
Feature selection, but more more appropriate is dimensionality reduction, right? The example we were giving, it's a book of say 500 pages, okay, and we were trying to just get the summary of it, something
Right.
like that, so that
Okay.
it is. I mean, one feature encompasses the important parts of so many features, one or two features, okay. So principal component analysis is primarily for dimensionality
Dimension
reduction.
reduction. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Too many features. Right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes, right. What should when should outlier detection be performed during data pre-processing? Yeah.
Before handling missing values.
Uh, huh? Before handling missing values, or rather it is see missing
Sorry.
values, yeah, missing values you can handle, but before you select the features that okay, this features only we are going to pass, okay, before
Right.
that
Right.
definitely you should try and find outliers and try to remove it, because once you pass your features, the model will be trained on those, right? On
Right.
those values and all. So that should be, I mean, that should not be something very like which is misguiding your model or mistraining your model, I should say. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, which of the following techniques is used to scale?
Min-max scaling, right?
Yeah, all.
Other than label encoding.
Yes.
Actually, it can be more than that.
Other than label encoding.
Other
Yeah.
than right, I think other than label encoding is more correct.
Yes, right. Yeah. Other than label encoding, all are used. These are
all of them are the same. Yeah, right.
the different types, but all are
Right.
used. Okay. Yeah. Cross validation,
Is
I
for
know.
Model evaluation.
data cleaning.
data cleaning. Okay. Yeah, I think this we just didn't name, but cross validation actually is more of that train test split which we are having. Okay. That training testing we are splitting and putting, right? We are partitioning the data into subsets on
Right.
different combinations. So that is actually called like cross validation. Okay. So in this algorithms in the portal, I was saying no, they will give you like cross validation and what is your subset percentage. It will name under it. So just to highlight the term. So it is more of like model evaluation. When you like train and test, you separate.
Model evaluation. When do you evaluate the model? Only after training and all, right?
Post training, sir. You are evaluating the model.
Evaluating a model comes when the predictions are all done, right?
No, it is
No.
used primarily for what? It is used primarily. Why do you do the train test?
Sorry.
Primarily for what do you do the train test split? Why do you do? Why need
Yeah.
you
Okay. Yeah,
need,
you can see that, right? Yeah, you're cross-validating the data. Fair. Okay. All right.
yeah,
So
you need to
yeah, no,
evaluate.
I can understand. So that the between predictions and this, how close it is, you can check it. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Model evaluation is actually you are trying to predict how much your how much your actual is equal to your prediction, and to do that model evaluation you split it, correct? You split it and you send it, you train it. So the purpose of cross validation is actually, I mean, primarily it leads to model evaluation. Okay, that is how like we thought here. Okay, okay. And yeah, KNN classifier. It is
Classification.
yeah, classification. I think no doubt on that, on the neighbor road and all that. Just, I mean, always keep your, if you are interested in like shifting your area to this, right? This concept should be very clear to you. If at all you are interested to like face job
Value
interview.
of k determine number of clusters.
Yeah, KNN is actually
Number of neighbors, nearest neighbors,
yeah.
Number of clusters. I thought.
not clusters.
KNN classifier it was, sir. Okay. Oh, I went to the next. Okay. Yeah, the value of
Number of
KNN.
neighbors.
Number
Number
of
of
neighbors.
Number of neighbors.
Yeah. KNN classifier is number of neighbors, and K means clustering. Is
Okay.
cluster.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, K means clustering is cluster.
Yeah, Euclidean distance.
Yeah, Euclidean distance is for KNN classifier. Same. Okay, what is the distance? I mean, usually they ask now, like you can go and obviously see what are other distances, but usually, like KNN is based on Euclidean distance. Okay, like measuring the straight line distances between two
Yeah.
points. It is based
The
on
linear
that.
distance.
Yeah, linear distance between two. Yeah. And logistic regression, what it is used for? Continuous
Categorical values.
Categorical outcomes.
Categorical outcomes, right?
categorical outcomes. Correct. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. And what is the output of logistic regression?
0 and 1.
0 to 1.
Yeah, right. It is not continuous values. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, it is 0 and 1.
Linear regression used for C, predicting continuous values.
Yes. Linear regression is for continuous values. Okay. Okay. And usually in linear regression model, what is the metrics we use?
MSE.
Yeah, means
Mean square error.
Yeah, even mean absolute also.
Yeah,
Error.
mean square error is variance, right?
Variance is used for that only, sir. Mean square
Right.
error.
Yeah,
Yeah, to find
mean
out
square,
how much it differs, okay, from the
right?
actual. And you have formulas actually for that, okay, how to calculate that. Just see,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Your F1 score itself depends upon A, right? F1 score depends upon A, and then you had a weighted average and all that, right? So,
see, then like each and every one has to be gone inside. But usually in linear regression models, if you see in all types of models, this is kind of a what to say, because the nature is linear, right? So
yeah,
these are used. It is very commonly used for linear models. Now, if
yeah,
you have,
which is variance, right? Fair enough. Okay.
yeah, the answer is this one,
Yeah.
mean absolute
What
error.
assumptions are used for linear regression model? D. Relationship between features and target linear.
Yeah, right. What assumptions underlies linear regression model? Yes. So this is an assumption that relationship between features and targets, and we saw our logistic graph, we saw our linear graph. Just
Right,
try
right,
to
right.
think about that. Okay. Yeah,
K,
and
K,
K
K is
means,
for classification.
yeah, K means clustering is for unsupervised clustering. Okay, like
Unsupervised clustering.
yeah,
Yeah.
when we
Oh,
learned unsupervised learning, right? As a
yeah.
example of it, we introduced K means.
Unsupervised clustering.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is just given, but I mean, unsupervised means what? That there are no labels. Okay,
D- uh,
predefined, no labels are
da-
there.
da- uh, Data prediction based on pattern understanding.
Yes. So see, these are very common things. Okay, you might say a lot of things if like I have done K means clustering, KNN classification, and all I know. But if you are, these are basics. Then what this K means in clustering? Okay.
Clusters.
Yeah, it
Clusters.
is clusters. So be very clear on your basic concepts if you are planning for, like, just trying to change that. I thought this might be useful for you. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is almost yeah, done. Okay, now we'll just introduce another, I mean, interesting thing also, I should say. Yeah. So, okay, let us go in this way. Suppose, see, we did all this kind of model training and all this, right? Okay, and I think now most of us use Chat GPT or other forums like Gemini, Copilot. Okay, so I mean, what do you feel is the difference? Anything do you feel, or there is no difference, or like how you are using it in that? Do you think there is any difference? If you are using it, if you are not also, if you are aware, you can say, or if you don't know also, it is fine, but I'm just trying to introduce an area.
Like the Copilot has three versions of giving an answer in a creative way or just a normal way, while ChatGPT gives an answer like every time almost the same answer.
Okay. Okay, anything like uh, might be. Yeah, so one thing what like we will start now is we'll try and understand. See, now AI is actually getting I mean diversified. Okay, with AI now, what in the recent past has come up is generative AI. Okay, and just like ChatGPT is becoming a very like common example of it. Okay, like uh, to give for generative AI. But just to understand that what we do in AI and what we do in generative AI, like why is it different? Okay, just see this slide. Is it clear to everyone? I'll just like ask. If it is not, I will increase that thing.
Yeah, slightly increase. Yeah.
But it went. Okay. Yeah. Just see this slide. Okay. And see, here is something like text related AI task and
Yeah.
generative AI task. See, read through nicely, and you can, I think, yourself tell me how different is generative AI from the usual traditional AI.
So generative will basically give output in a natural language processing manner, either story or a proper, I would say, paragraph, a proper answer, English answer, let's say, if it is English language.
Yeah.
Anyone else read through very nicely? Just read through
Yeah,
the thing.
one text-related AI task looks like more like a process. Generative AI task looks more like an output.
Okay. 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 Let me just. Yeah. Yes. Please go ahead, ma'am.
I said generative AI looks like output based more on what? Create generative AI tasks, is right?
Okay.
Words used.
Okay. Just see this one also. Okay. And try to comprehend. Everyone, please. It will be really nice to hear from all of you. You're just seeing and saying, right?
Text. Nice.
Anyone? Anything?
What generative AI is going to do, ma'am, is actually based on the training data on which it has been trained, it is going to go beyond your standards and create its own composition or create its own output. It's not going to get restricted by just converting speech to text,
Right.
or
Right.
just creating
Speech emotions.
machine language into English language. Based on the training data, it is going to go ahead and give you an output which is like more into what you have been expecting it to do.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is like first stage is like
Hmm.
reading and understanding. Second stage is generating output for you.
Yeah,
Right. If you go
it's like you are
exactly.
asking. It's like if you are asking, I want a hypothesis for a particular subject for doing my PhD. So it is going to give you 10 hypotheses based on the data sets which have been fed into it.
Right, right. So what it is doing basically by the word itself, all of you are correct. It is generating, right? Generating some new content for you. Correct, no? So see, if you see in this all these years, right, generative AI has gained a lot of and lot of importance because the thing is, I mean, I feel like even I use a lot of generative AI. Like when I feel it's like a companion. Okay, whatever you ask it, okay, let you generate this for me. Okay, suppose you write a poem on so and so. Okay, something new that you want. Uh, like how you gave the example, right? What could be the probable hypothesis for PhD, suppose in this area? Okay, it gives you so many. Okay, but obviously your discretion at the end. I mean, never try to think this is like in general that it has replaced the normal intelligence. Okay, but the thing is it has obviously made our lives very easy. I mean, it's like a companion. It aids in your understanding any kind of questions. Okay, generating a new content, it is usually useful. Like for speech, I just gave an example, like for composing a new music. Okay, another I just wanted to show all of you. If you see here, this is a portrait which is generated like by one of the engines. Okay, so this is, I mean, it takes the data like from the existing ones. Okay, and then draws this image like it is generating a new realistic image. Okay, that resembles a lot of the training data. So generative AI is more on generating new content. Okay, and that is why it is it is gaining so much importance. The different engines and everyone is trying to adopt its new generative AI framework. Okay, because it is, I mean, it is actually aiding whatever area you are, whatever work you do, right? It aids a lot in where you are doing. But yeah, always have this in mind in future also, that I mean, your discretion is also very essential. Like for instance, let me tell you, suppose you tell it many times I have been using that way, that generate a Python code for this, okay, for so and so, for a NLP generate a Python code, okay, it will generate a Python code for me, okay. I put it, many times I have faced this. I see is whatever desired results I wanted to get right, it is not getting me. Okay. There comes my understanding of the code. Okay. If I was asked to write, say, a complex Python code, it will obviously take me hours. Okay. For any human being, it will take hours. But in that area, it does it in just in one shot. Okay. But you, if you are not, you cannot really do a copy paste with what in any area, you cannot really do a copy paste with what is trying, with what is coming for your, from your generative AI engine. Always keep this in mind. So this kind of ethical issues actually are coming, I think, in every field. We will discuss on that also. But I mean, this is very important to understand. It generates new content for you, it helps you, but it, I mean, your discretion, your understanding is always required to analyze this, okay. So this is like one thing. So how does generative AI work actually? If you see, right, I mean, it is a type of machine learning that can produce content, okay, such as audio, text, code, video, even video it can produce, okay, images. I mean, different engines might be different, like different engines might be more capable in any area, but usually you will see, I mean, it can handle all of this, and there is a lot of improvisation that is being made, I think, in everywhere. If you see responses for different uh, say engines, right, you will see how they differ. We'll see one here. And how it works, it learns the underlying patterns in any given data set, okay, and that knowledge to create new data. Okay, now here you were giving, okay, but here the engine is actually trained in that way, that it is always being trained in that way to learn. And whenever a new query comes up, it knows how to give. Like here, if you see, the training is like on various pictures of dogs, it has been trained, okay, and it figures out what are the common dog patterns, like if it is a dog picture, and then you ask it to draw a picture of a dog, it draws for you, okay. So this is the kind of thing that happens. Apart from that, even what I mean, what the data tells, I mean, you feed in a data, and it has various ways of actually understanding it, grouping into clusters, and again trying to generate new content. So basically, generative AI is mostly towards generating new content. That is the difference. Both are not just like this is one thing and that is one thing. It is, you can say, another area of AI which is mostly into generating new content on generative area. Yeah, this example I think I gave. Yeah, just you can see, like, see, writing a poem and all, these are all creative skills, okay, which actually like we usually see in a say usually for human beings, okay. I was just trying to show you all that how this works in three of the engines I tried, okay. If you see here that what I gave as query was write a poem on the future of AI, okay, and this is real, I mean, just I did it yesterday itself, okay. If you see here that write a poem on future of AI, and just see how different engines, how they gave me this. I mean, they are similar, but I felt like I was interacting with three different persons. No two people will write the same poem on the same subject, right? If you imagine in that way, can you read through just for your understanding? So, and all this kind of tasks you can do in generative AI.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, like this is something.
Absolutely great.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, just imagine any single person, whoever is a poet also. This actually, yesterday I got it within, I should say, 10 minutes, three poems from three sites. Just imagine. And for a poet also who has been writing for years, this would not have been possible. Okay. And the main another thing is, see the different kind of responses. If you see the co-pilot response, see how it is. If you see Gemini and like ChatGPT response, how it is.
I'm really worried about the middle one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So with this, actually, I mean, if you want, you go through, okay, the poem, and we are just like a very interesting discussion. Okay, we will have after this on two like real broad topics that are really interesting. So yeah, I'll put the screen on share if you want it, but just to mention here.
You know,
So there
I just heard uh, Shantanu Narayan of Adobe. You know, they're big time in AI, right? So they're saying AI is surely going to be disruptive. That's what he's saying.
I mean, that is
Good.
really a concern that how like we are
You know, it's going to be disruptive is the word. Right? I do not
yeah,
know how much. Okay, and then we were just talking about poems,
yeah.
composition, content creation, and all that. And
And actually, sir,
the,
if you see, it is
the
like a real human being that I always
the advertising world has got so much of content creation, right? There's a fear of disruption in a massive way.
true. So on this, actually, why I wanted to bring this, okay. So there's one of the link, okay. I'm just sharing that because we will discuss in this area. Okay, let me just copy link like this. Yeah. So here, just try to. I mean, these are some like your viewpoint on like future of AI and ethics of AI. Okay, some
Yeah.
questions that are there because we will discuss in this area just after this.
Right.
Okay, just I mean these are direct questions. I did not want to actually say like tell you about it and then let go for this because why I'm saying I mean I don't want to influence your perspective. All of us are coming from different backgrounds, right? So I mean I really do not want to influence your perspective. So just try to I mean it's a very short thing I think. Yeah. Okay, on future and ethics of AI that we will discuss, but there are few questions. Okay, when you are filling them up, just think in a way that I mean how like in just think with your area or your it might be the area you work on or the area of your interest or where you are currently. I mean whatever like it should I mean you should try to think in your area how these questions are relevant, okay, with respect to that. And next we will discuss on this too and kind of like try to close this. So just try and fill up this. I think it should be accessible to all of you. Okay, just think and we will discuss broadly because all of you are coming from diverse backgrounds, right? So this really like helps in understanding where is AI really taking us. Okay, and some broader areas we will discuss. So yeah, yeah, questionnaire on that. If you want, I can keep this. Okay, but everyone, yeah, I mean, it's not a mandate. Okay, if you want, you fill up. We will just discuss in that area. So like, it will be good. You will already start thinking on that, and we can bring like more from all of you. But there's no mandate, and there's no like it's not a quiz or assessment of any kind. Okay. So let's again come back. So it's like 4 o'clock, right? By 4:15, we will
Right.
again gather back. Okay, and thank you
What
for
time, ma'am? What time?
4:15, 4:15.
Okay.
About
Okay, yeah, because you'll need little time to fill up that, right? Okay, so let's take a 15 minutes break. You fill up that, and we will come back. Okay, if you want, I can just put this on. I mean, is it a threat or an opportunity? Okay, and what ethical concerns you think like can arise or are already have like already it is there for AI. So just try to think in those lines and your inputs are actually welcome. Okay, and if you are like see AI in most of the places it is used for to ease our processes, right? So how can you enhance the capability or the process building in your area or in the industry if you have AI in place? Okay. Okay. So let's discuss on those lines. Yeah. Anyone, like all of
Uh,
you,
uh,
want to share?
Basically, I'm Harish Ramakrishnan. I'm working in IndusInd Bank from past 8 years. I feel that AI, if it is used in the banking industry, it will reduce, especially any repetitive work. It will try to even reduce the human errors also, and plus it will make the work in a, it will give the work report in a much more enhanced manner. What work what manual work used to take for a very long time, that AI will reduce in within certain period of time, and that will increase the productivity of the organization, and that will eventually give more profit to the organization.
So in like any kind of say your like any kind of processes, okay, or capability that you think you can base on AI and that will be helpful in your
Yes,
area. You
I mean, see,
just
in my area, there is one AI tool that, I mean, you can say like a robotic process automation software is used in. I'm not in the IT department, but in the IT department, it is used to enhance our work process. But it is still in a nascent stage. It is still, I can say, it is still in the developing state. But simultaneously, this means a certain particular team helps the RPA to keep on updating as per the requirement. So
okay.
so in that way, it really helps our banking work process to get little bit smoother than how it was a couple of years ago.
Right. And in this context, even I thought of like sharing, like I have seen, I mean, this domains like finance and all from the IT perspective, okay? Because like I'm from the IT industry itself. And there, this, I mean, this robotic process automation, right? I think even it has a lot of potential for like there are so huge kind of like transaction files, okay, that are actually in banking. If you see, it is going from like
Exactly. That helps to reduce the volume of work in our respective field. That's the only thing.
so much repetitive. Yeah, yeah. Nice to hear. And any ethical concerns you see, sir, in the banking industry?
I mean, ethical, you can say now, just for example, now even in the AI also, there is one thing called blockchain technology. It is also part of AI also. That also helps in reducing the volume of transaction in the banking process, as well as that helps in in giving the better customer service to the respective customers who are coming to open the account in the bank.
Okay, okay. Nice to hear. Yeah. Anyone
Yeah.
else, if from a different industry, it will be good. And thank you, sir. Thank you for your input. I mean, it will be good for all of us. See, we are coming with like what all, like one of the industry we got an example. So, yeah. Anyone else from a different industry, please share your experience. Like where you are using, where do you think potentially it can be used? And if you think like it is a threat and what kind of ethical concerns it can bring from your idea. Anyone, please go ahead. Anyone from, I mean,
I, th- I
Uh,
thought Harish, I thought Harish was answering question number 2, which is machine learning AI capabilities in the banking industry. Right? I talked about it even earlier. It can do a lot more in that banking industry. I'm already seeing that in a very huge way in the
okay,
investment industry. Okay, in the capital markets, it's being used very intensively. Uh, very intensively, algorithms are being used for deciding uh, how our capital markets function worldwide. That is worldwide. Okay.
okay,
Now, on the generative AI, like I said, looks like the advertising industry. I don't belong to the industry though. Looks like the advertising industry could have a big effect. Could have big effect, right? As the question regarding whether AI is a threat or an opportunity,
yeah,
it's a big opportunity for very skilled people. Very big opportunity for very highly skilled people. uh,
yeah,
but considering the way routine, mundane tasks will all suffer in a very, very big way. In a very, very big way, because most of them won't even exist in future. So to that extent, it's a very big threat for a high population country like India, where majority of the people, where the huge skill gap between the demands of industry and services and what our education system currently provides. That is why it's a threat, but it's a big opportunity for very highly skilled people across segments, across business services, right? Now, and what are the ethical concerns? There are several ethical concerns. As it is, data privacy is right now is a very big issue, very, very big issue. I think data is there is simply no data which is not known to the world. Every personal data is shared with everyone else, and if they use AI with their personal data, which is stolen, if I can use the word, it's a very huge ethical concern.
And without your consent, the main
Without, yeah,
important
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
even
yeah,
know that it's happening with your own data,
right.
right?
You know, uh, your call centers are functioning on that basis, right? Your call
Right.
centers are functioning. People will call you by name and your telephone number, right? How does somebody know your name, right? You know, uh, 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 your data across aspects, different aspects. What you do, what you like, what you don't like, generally out in the open, and you're already seeing activity uh, by call centers, including by artificial persons, non-existent persons like Alexa type, calling you on X, Y, and Z, right? So they are all direct relation of data privacy, data intrusion issues. Unfortunately, I think in our country there has been no proper regulation regarding what
Right.
data can be used, what data cannot be used. Once the data is already out in the open, no future regulation can arrest the data that is already gone out. That's a very big threat. A regulation can only be prospective; it cannot be retrospective.
So
Right? That's what I
basically,
thought.
like, there are two
Yeah.
perspectives. Yeah, yeah, very correct. I think you have highlighted, I mean, some real concerns that we are having. And I remember someone like in the beginning about the education industry, right? We were discussing that. I mean, if it could be mapped in our models, right? That like the educational background and then what our jobs that are getting done, correct?
That is the first question I asked you, madam, on my first class, right? You remember? There's a huge gap between our educational methods, the whole model across the country, and what is the skill that you actually want. Okay, I think we are about 60 to 80 years behind time. 60 to 80 years behind time. I don't think we keep thinking about the wrong things. Okay? They never address that, and I'm quite concerned in the context of our very, very young population demographics. With 65% of India below 33 years of age, 35% of India below 18 years of age, right? That's a concern. So with more and more mundane jobs, going out of the system, right? I can imagine several jobs in a supply chain. They won't exist, right? There are several jobs in the marketing area will not exist, right? They're all
Right.
they're all the lower routine jobs. The huge issues, not ordinary issues, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think this course will actually give you a like will help you think that so much potential it has, but then on an overall level, how much it is going to affect us as a society. I think altogether.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else from a say a little bit of different industry? I think we had someone from the defense area, right? Sorry if you
Yeah, I was just waiting for that, ma'am. I have retired from the Indian Air Force. The Indian Air Force is working on a AI model. When I left, to have a generative decision on aborting a mission from taking off from an airfield. There are large number of issues which are involved in terms of availability of arrestor barriers on either side of the runway, availability of your basic uh, equipment for safety,
Mm.
and the most important aspect is bird activity and the weather condition. All these have to be dovetailed into getting a final decision just before the aircraft starts rolling on the runway for a takeoff.
Mm.
Now,
Yeah.
this model is being generated to get an output which will give a go no go abort decision for the pilots in the cockpit. This is a work in progress when I left the Air Force, and it is a very big issue for us because you will be hearing the amount of quantum of flying which the Indian Air Force does is humongous.
Mm.
So it is a very important issue which is an ongoing thing which is going on right now.
Okay. And you see it is already getting utilized, right? With more
Yeah.
scope. You see, right? Now, okay.
In
Yeah. And
fact, it
any
is
concerns you
uh,
see? Yeah.
one
Please.
more thing which it is used for is more effective. In our terminology, we call it a weapon to target matching. So when you want to use a particular weapon, a weapon may be as simple as a dumb bomb, or it may be a very strategic weapon, and you have a target. You have to match the weapon to the target so that you don't waste a very costly weapon on a very simple target. So
Absolutely.
this weapon to target matching is another place where work is on right now to do, to use AI to get a more effective weapon to target matching output.
Okay. Really, I mean, it's a new thing for us to, like, for me at least to hear. I mean, didn't really have an idea that how it is being utilized. And any kind of threat you see, sir, in that area?
Of
Any kind of threat you see that AI can bring in the area of like defense or air force?
threat,
Yeah, threat
there is a
or
huge,
ethical concerns. Yeah, and
there are a lot of concerns. In fact, there are concerns in terms of, see, in our services, what we have are our own secured networks. Like even the banking industry has their own secured network. We also have our own secured network. So the biggest threat is that an AI, a deep fake sort of a thing being introduced into our network, which can totally disrupt and bias our decision making. So that is one very, for us it is all it ultimately comes down to threats as far as the defense forces go. Although opportunities are there, but for us it becomes a threat. It's an opportunity for the enemy and a threat for us. So, and vice versa.
I mean, if we are using as an opportunity for our country, I mean, the other country is also using it as an opportunity, right? Which might
Yeah.
be a threat for us. I mean,
And one thing which I wanted to bring out was that with AI, then things are going to become so. In fact, we will become much more dependent on using such kind of softwares. It is actually a threat that in case of a blackout scenario where we lose our power networks, we will not have people who can go back to the manual system of working.
right.
Are you getting the point?
Yes, I'm getting your point. At a
Yeah,
minimum of power, I mean, a power outage nowadays.
no,
I
you
mean,
may
I
have a power outage is fine, ma'am, but there are people, you will not have a generation of people who have worked with power outages with their manual hands. But
not
now
even
being
see.
dependent on an AI model, the manual way of working and that experience will go. So that is, I feel, a very silent threat which is there.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, but that happens across all industries and all services.
So we need to be prepared for it, is what I feel.
No, it happens across all industries and services.
So I don't
The
know how many people appreciate it and how many people practice for it. That is the thing. While I agree that it happens across all industries, it must be happening. But we should have core people, core teams available to recover those, to recover from those scenarios. That was my point.
Impact of recovery. I mean,
See,
the impact that it creates in various areas, right? I mean,
as far recovery is concerned, the point is most industries and most services have to work on databases, right? Databases of the past records, learnings, whatever. And as long as the database is secure, and I hopefully databases can be made secure, then I don't think we will revert to the manual process anytime in the next 50 years or so. Okay, we will not. There's no way anybody will go back. We only go forward, regardless of whichever government comes to power, right? So as long as the database of learnings, database of actuals, whatever you want to call it, across industry services, they're all there. If the database were not there, AI could never happen, right? As simple as that. Uh, so, uh, uh, that is one portion. But again, talking of threats and opportunities and all, I look at different other situations that taking place. I was referring to the mundane jobs, etc., and the demographic profile, all that. Uh, One of the issues that comes out as a threat is the inequality of incomes and wealth. Inequality will widen very severely. We already see countries where there is a huge social tension because of this. This is a big threat with what happens with social tensions when inequalities widen. What happens?
people's
Inequalities
skills,
widen. It is
these
not
skills,
easy to provide a job because there are skill gaps that are actually coming in. We cannot go back to a process of forget AI. AI is something that came about 7, 8, 10 years back. Even 10 years back process you cannot get back. 15 years back process you can't get back. So there's automation is gone any extent. So given that situation, that is why you find complete mismatches in job also doing the most mundane jobs. These are all what we want from that. Right? So that's the opportunity for really skilled people. Really skilled. You actually keep asking the question: why do middle class educated people immigrate, go abroad, and not return? That will give you a lot of
you're
answers. A lot
not,
of answers.
your voice is breaking actually.
So why do
Okay.
middle class educated people go abroad, uh, you know, and not return, right? And
Right. Despite it, we are a lot of diverse
so
uh, discussion points. Okay, we can have.
you know, you know
Just yeah, just to cut you short, I mean, please do not mind, to get all the more varied experiences. Anyone else from a different industry who would like to share their experience? Anyone from academics or I mean, people very new to this area, like either freshers or, I mean, just entering, or might be think about your life itself. If you are just this is an area of interest for you. I mean, it will be really nice to hear your perspective. No one, or a different area. As anyone from healthcare we have here?
well, as far as healthcare is concerned, AI is going to make a big difference uh, in the efficiency of processes, and therefore much better healthcare. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
uh,
And actually, it is making,
no,
I mean, the
you know,
kind of monitoring that we are getting in healthcare, right? Okay. I mean, to jump into action as soon as there is something which is not, which is not, I mean,
see,
that kind of alerts are getting created.
you know,
So I think that's huge.
tier 2 cities and rural India can benefit a very big way, even when there is no doctors, no high profile doctors. I can see that happening. I can see that happening. Uh, this will make huge difference. Huge difference.
Right.
Right. So therefore, to the extent tier 2 cities will develop much faster. Tier 2, tier 3 cities will develop much faster. Because if healthcare
So
is taken care, one important social infrastructure is already set up.
yeah. So anyone else? Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inputs. Yeah. So anyone else from a different area, if you wanted to, or you see like any kind of example that you see around, if you want to share, and where you think like ethically it can go wrong, if you want to, it's okay. Something different. Okay.
In IT only, IT field, you get a lot of automated code generated, right? If you tell
Right.
that write a program for me, it will do a program for you.
Even like in IT, I will share my like one of the experience, right? Uh, like IT, you see, already we are into like so much of automation and I like all this kind of things. But with AI, right now, even the IT jobs, like I mean, you have this Chat GPT and different kind of forums, right, where you can easily generate. I mean, and easily you give up like this is your problem statement and you want the code, or this is your problem statement and like you want a strategy, like how say you are designing a quality strategy for your software. Okay, you give it, and I mean it's ready, and if you see the result, right, it is like an experience of a person who is almost like, I should say, 7 to 8 years experience. I mean, if you work for a 7 to 8 years in any in industry, right, the level of expertise that you achieve, so that kind of results it is giving, which really like makes us think about. I mean, whether it will really be replacing or how it is going to be. But one thing in this all, like I would really like, because we had a interaction for all these 5 days, but I really want to share with you all. But in whatever area you use AI, right? I mean, never try to use it. Say, I should say in a very crude way. I mean, never try to use it blindly. Okay, you should always be aware what it is bringing, because many a times we have seen like it could lead to. I'll give you an example how it is. Like, yeah, once actually, like in Amazon, right? It is famous as the Amazon recruiting bias. Okay, where like Amazon developed a model. Okay, on AI driven, like they were trying to design a recruiting tool. I mean, trying to automate the entire hiring process and all. Okay, so it, because you know, right, the models are based on the historical data, right? So that historical data, on it was based, and what happened is that the model, because what to say, like the history shows that there are more male candidates than female ones. Okay, so it kind of it got biased, and it was predicting, I mean, it was giving results, right? If it is a male candidate, then the, I mean, it was getting more preference as a feature, like how we saw. Okay, but then when it actually came, right, and they had to evaluate it. Okay, to understand that, I mean, this is because you can have a AI model, but it should ensure fairness. Okay, that is very important. So whether the, because the model understands only data, right? But on the top of everything is the discretion of a, I mean, a human. Okay, whether it should go, or whether it is real or not. So this kind, while building AI models, right, as we were discussing on the ethical parts, this becomes very important, like to see whether the model is trying to ensure fairness and non discrimination. And I think, yeah, many people highlighted, which is really true. Your entire history whatever you serve, whatever websites you are going, whatever product preferences you have, right? I mean, I see it so astonishing. If I am going for something on the first level, right, the next day I will be suggested to take on the next level what I want to for that same thing. So it is like I didn't
Yeah.
even tell a person, but it is like someone knows that okay, I am researching in this area and gives me that your next area of interest might be this. So this is how like our data is getting circulated, okay, throughout, and engines are actually, I mean, taking it, but that is without our consent. So this transparency, okay, is very important, that if at all your data is being shared, the regulatory body should be such that these apps or applications ask you that this is what we want to take. Some are asking, obviously, many we see nowadays, but I also do not think, not really everywhere this data privacy is there. So in a way that harms, I think, like all of us in some way or the other. So these are, I mean, you afterwards you all can read through. These are like quite common areas on the ethics of AI, which is really important, and I think all of us have more or less highlighted that. Then one more thing is about the, say, the accountability and the transparency of a process. Okay, whatever process. Suppose if you make a hiring decision, or if you make like through a AI tool, or if you make a, say. Say whether loan will be given to a person or not, okay. So if a person is denied or like given the loan, it should be clear enough that why that person was denied, okay. The transparency of the algorithm, okay, it should always be informed to whoever is on the receiving end. So this kind of features actually, I mean, the AI related tools should follow, okay. And there are regulatory frameworks, I think, which are already in place, okay. So they actually, I mean, uh, they, I don't remember, I think it's GIPR or something, okay. So yeah, GDPR, okay, already in Europe, I mean, which is I mean, which is based on all this, okay, based on all the principles which are ethical principles in AI. And the more it is like, if your consent should always be there, if they collect your name, email, payment information, and you also, if something is a data leakage, like if it is a leakage, right, you should know where you have to go back if there is a data breach. So these are very essential to be implemented. While you, like all of us, or might be some of us might be in these fields, right, where we will be designing or writing models or whatever, in some way contributing to this area. So always keep these things in mind, okay, and always use your discretion. That I'll say, like for the don't open the code and just blindly like copy paste it, then you will see many a times the results actually falter. I mean, this is really a practical experience. So along with generating the code, even understanding it is very useful. And I think I don't need to much discuss about the like future. We all from different industries, I think we have pointed out. You can obviously go through how it is being used. Yeah, okay, okay, now that we are just ending the session, right, I think there was a request for this, okay, that some of the useful resources where you can go and see. So yes, from my experience, I'll tell you the first six of them I very commonly use, and it is not always a platform where you go and write code. Okay, there will be tutorials on different concepts. One is Kaggle. You can just go to Google and give a search. I think, yeah, for the sake of time, I was just trying to see if I can. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it has
this
a
is,
very good data sets.
yeah, it is not only for the data sets, okay. Data sets are part competitions you have, but you can also like search for tutorials here, okay, that I want to read something, some course on it. So it will pick a data set and walk you through the entire concept of it, okay. So use, I mean, if you're interested in the area, no, that gives you a vast learning. Okay, and yeah, apart from that, I
So
think
is
yes, there are.
Kaggle only for data science related stuff, or
Kaggle, as far as I use, it is for data science and machine learning related stuff.
Okay.
Okay, all kind of algorithms, data sets. I mean, I have been using it in that way, but not really sure if it is used for something else also. But it has a lot of data sets, even for this also, UCI machine learning repository. But don't only think that data is there. You have explanations, you have tutorials. Okay, so that helps. And another, I mean, this is from a very personal experience I'm telling you. I mean, use AI to learn AI. Okay, this has really been, I mean, I think this is one of another one way to understand it. It just matters, see, any area which we don't have expertise on, right, or we want to know it is new to us, we always, be it from where we are or what our background is, in that area we are a beginner. Okay, so you can give queries like, say in chat GPT itself. So suppose explain KNN to me like a beginner. Okay, or explain, say for example, this algorithm to me as a kid, and you will actually see how the responses differ. I mean, I have seen it. Okay, if you say like a kid, no, it gives you examples, and I mean, it explains you just as you will explain a kid. Or as a beginner, no, it will not only give you jargons or words which you are not supposed to know. It will explain you from the basic level. So just try using this. Okay, chat GPT, Microsoft Copilot, any kind of concept. If you say I want to learn it in a mathematical way, you can go. If you say I want to get the code for it and explain each and every line of the code, okay, that also you will find. Okay, and chat GPT, like at present it is being used so much. So with respect to formatting and all, I think, it's my personal experience, I feel it is not that better. But with respect to content, chat GPT, I think it is like, at present it is functioning quite high. And Google Colab also, for people who don't want to go through all this installation and all this process, also just go into the site. You will have Jupyter notebooks and all kind, where you can do your code, and all kinds of information you will get. Just by the name that I'm sharing right in the PPT, you can search all this. I think someone wanted to know. All these are actually good sites to increase your knowledge on this area. Okay. So yeah, pretty much I wanted to cover this. Just one very small activity that we will do. It's kind of fun activity. Let's do at the end and end up in a good note. Okay. So yeah, I just have like three websites open for me here. Okay, see ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini AI. Okay, just to see. I just thought of giving this query. Okay, I mean, not query. Just let's see what it responds. Okay, once upon a time in a class of AI with people from diverse backgrounds. Okay, let's just hit and see what is the response. Okay,
Very
I'm giving,
interesting.
yeah, I'm giving to ChatGPT, giving for Copilot also. Okay, same thing, and yeah, Copilot, yeah, Gemini is not open. Yeah, let's give here also. We'll see what kind of response comes here. Okay, it's giving. So see here, if you see here, right, an entire story it has written for you. Just read few lines. We are almost ending, and you will see how the difference is. Okay, in a bustling city.
It's created from the public data.
Yeah. And the most astonishing thing is, yesterday it was a different story with the same thing. Okay, I was just trying, and it was a different story now. Now, yeah, let's just see Copilot. Yeah, okay. I'll just try to highlight one thing to you all and see how it differs, the understanding. Okay, this if you see is in Gemini. Okay, it is also giving a story, kind of a smaller one. Okay.
Completely different perspective here.
Yes, the diversity. It's a fairly different. Like the flavor is different. Okay, and if you go to Copilot, just see here what it is giving.
Yeah, correct. So whole essence is basically that if you are working for an industry, that data needs to be trained only for that industry. That is what you should use.
I mean, what I thought is, see, the context got changed. Okay, that was just a story. Okay, that give a story. I was thinking that way, but when I gave in three different places, right, in Copilot, I see it is more on the diversity that it concentrated. Okay, on the area of diversity. If you see here, so it depends, like how the response, and there lies your discretion. Okay, I mean, use AI for everything that you feel can help you, but never forget that you are the one who has actually invented AI. So
So you are
never
saying that
forget.
the weightage is given to the diverse keyword. Only.
Yes, right, right. Why? Because I mean, it's a different way every engine is working. Okay, so that if you see
Yeah.
now, this is just for fun actually. I mean,
Hmm.
okay. Okay, then, yeah. So I think, yeah, it was a good session and quite informative for me also. Even I learned a lot.
Actually, ma'am, it was very informative session. All the 5 days were very much informative. Means we could gather the knowledge regards to the topic, whatever you covered.
A
Okay, so
very big
I
thank you to you. Very big thank you to you. Very good sessions. Very good sessions. Considering especially that this is a very very diverse group.
right.
Uh, Sometimes I think that this is a subject which may take, you know, I don't know, 6 months or 10 months of continuous learning. Right? It obviously can't be digested in 5 sessions. Right?
Yeah, that
Right.
is true. This is only a beginning, sir.
Very
I
beginning,
think.
right? Okay,
Yeah,
and people have very different. What shall I say? Sometimes you think that a more systematic learning would be to filter the levels, right? To filter the levels so that you get better and better responses.
and I
Right?
think from this, no, all of you, like, because some area of interest has been there, only then you have registered for this training, right? So just go in and dig in. I mean, it's an ocean. Okay, we are just in different ways we are trying to like learn and how it is getting really used. But this
Right.
will all this leads which I gave, right? I hope this will really be useful for all of you.
Right.
I
Okay
think it
then.
was a really good session.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
for
once
that.
again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay. So,
Thank you.
Thank
yeah.
you so
So,
much, ma'am.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
I'll just,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, I will just sharing my, like, one of the course and the instructor fees that link. So, it's not mandatory. If you want, you can fill up. But, anyways, thanks to all of you. Okay.
Thank you
Even I
very much.
learned by like
Thank
doing
you.
this.
All the
Thank
best,
you, ma'am.
everyone.
And
Madam,
please
how do you get the participation certificates, madam?
see, about the certificate, actually, I mean, the program coordinator, I mean, I am not the right person to, I mean, really know and comment on this. Okay, the certification part is completely on them. So you just, I think Shobha is program coordinator, right? Yeah. So just connect with her. Okay. And regarding the course, yeah, any kind that you have, right? Anything in future also, my number is there. Please feel free to connect with me. Whatever possible from my end too. This is the, yeah, Google Form feedback. If you have time, just
Preeta ma'am,
yes. Yeah.
yeah, will you be sharing the session 5 material?
Yeah,
Because
I
it
will. Yes, yeah, I will share everything once again. Okay, this folder has everything for the session 5 also. Okay, so last what you keep is only the zip file of what I will share today. You can delete all the rest. Okay, so that will
okay,
include whatever you had and the new and the, because PPT and all, like, it has been updated also. So just delete like from this session what you have. Okay.
okay. Basically, the entire course zip file.
The entire receipt. Right? Yeah, you
Okay,
just
thank you.
system unzip it and get
Uh,
whatever.
Are you sharing your email ID or something?
My email ID.
No, yeah. No, if you got to get in touch with you, how do you get in touch with you?
Yeah, my number is there, and if you wish, I can share my email ID. That is not a problem. Okay, you can get in touch with me. And yeah, one more thing, I would love to hear all your experiences in this field. If really this course has helped you at some point of time. Okay, so this is my email ID.
Right.
If you want to get in touch, you can. And my number is there. Usually on calls and all, I'm not that responsive, but obviously, if you WhatsApp me or something, try to respond back. Okay, yeah, I'll share this folder. Okay, in case you are not getting, I'll be the program coordinator to share your email also.
Thank you so
And
much once again.
yeah, thanks to every one of you. It was a nice session, and all the best.
Yes, thank you. Thank you once again. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.